Hey everybody. I have
A Few Good Men is back.
A Few Good Men is back. I have no idea what this is going to sound like tonight. We're trying out a new system. As you can see, I got a
the
mic.
new mics.
He's got a mic. So, and I went to do the wiring, and I was missing one little piece, so I kind of had to work around that. So,
we'll see how she goes.
we'll see how she goes. This might sound horrible.
Yeah.
There's a good possibility.
That's
Hoping it comes out good.
Yeah, you know, gotta try something. So
Yeah.
we'll give it a shot.
You think we're clipping a little bit too much there? What do you think?
Crank her down to 2.
We could, let's give it a shot, see what happens. Just bear with us for a sec. We are like
Trying some things out.
Right when it goes down to 2. Let's try
Yeah.
there. Okay, that seemed a little better.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that might work a little better. I can always mess with the volume in post-production too.
Yeah.
This is probably really boring to all of you, but bear with us. We're in a new area here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Trying to up our game a little bit.
We're like a couple of cavemen trying to figure out how to do rocket science.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're struggling, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I actually think this is going to be really good too, because with the mics right here, it kind of forces us to point forward a little more.
That's right. Yeah.
So, so you guys can see our beautiful faces.
That's right. Instead of having to turn.
Lucky you.
Yeah. So we went and I went and joined Nafy and did some boxing over since our last podcast. I went and did a couple there. Pretty awesome. Pretty happy to be back at her. It's been a few years since I did the boxing, but yeah, it was quite the workout. I'll tell you what.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they put you through the ringer. The Fernie Old School Boxing Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sweet though. I was pretty happy to get back at her, man. It's been a while. We actually sparred on the day that you were you had to work late one night there.
Oh yeah, and I missed that one.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Jeremy's like, "Oh, come on, you can." I didn't get off till 7:30.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
It starts at 7:30.
Yeah.
And it's a half an hour drive away from home. So yeah, there is no chance. And if you show up late, you got to do 50 push-ups and.
Yeah.
It was a rough enough day. I missed one night.
Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back. I jacked my wrist up the last hitting the heavy bag. The guy came over and was like, because I got some pretty good power in my hooks and in my punches and stuff. Yeah. And he was like, he said that I did too. He's like, geez, try changing and hitting like this, hitting your hooks like this instead. And like I immediately did it. And the very first one just jacked my wrist up. Yeah. And I was actually talking to the guy, one of the guys that I work with here might come on and be a guest on the old podcast. And he was actually a boxing coach back in New Zealand.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
And I was telling him about it. And he's like, I hate when people tell people to throw hooks like that with their hand like that.
Yeah, because you get it in like that. If you get it in like that and you hit like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Right? He was like, just jacked it like that immediately first time. So I was like, I knew it was it. But then the next day I was like, oh, that I could barely even move it. It's getting a lot better. I think it'll be okay for Tuesday now, but
nice.
Yeah,
you got to be really careful, right? I mean, I learned the hard way that you have to be really careful how you hit. Mm-hmm. I used to have a really bad habit of when I threw, because we all want to throw the haymaker, right? If you don't know how to fight, you always want to throw a haymaker.
That's right, the haymaker is the
like
shot.
That.
Yeah.
You know what happens when you do that? You break this bone right here.
Mm-hmm.
Every single
that
time.
knuckle.
And that knuckle, yeah. So I've broken this bone twice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I used to have a really bad habit of hitting things that were harder than I would really like to hit. You know.
Yeah, punching inanimate objects just because. Yeah.
I remember one time I had this girlfriend when we got into a fight. I've never ever hit a girlfriend, but she was pushing me hard, and I just I was having such a rough day, and I didn't do it while we were talking, but I went out for a little bit, and I was coming back in, and a buddy of mine had just died, and he had died in a really horrible way. He was I forget, he had cerebral palsy or something. He'd lost control of his body. And so he was on his way home from a bar, such a cool guy. And he was in a wheelchair, an electric wheelchair, because he couldn't move his hands barely. And he hit a pothole and he fell out of his wheelchair into a mud puddle. No. And drowned.
Oh.
He couldn't lift his head up out of the mud puddle, right, and he drowned. He was such a good guy. And the poor guy, he was such a freaking ray of sunshine, right? Yeah. He had such a hard life, like literally, like when people think that they have a hard life, like you should see what this guy had to go through his whole life. He was like 23 when he died. and he couldn't move anymore, right?
Yeah.
And
But
JP,
smiling and happy.
yeah, John Paul, and he was such a good guy, and he died in this mud puddle. It just happened. I just got in this massive fight with this girlfriend I had at the time, who was batshit crazy, and I used to have a record of that. I really try to stay away from that now. But yeah, and I was walking back into our apartment building. We were on downtown Main Street. We had an apartment above a store. And I was going to walk in, and this girl that I knew walked up to me, and she said, "Hey, how's it going?" And I don't know what happened, man. I'm just like, I was reaching for my keys to open up the door, and I lost it. I don't even remember doing it, but I fucking took a swing and I hit a brick wall as hard as I could, and I fucking smashed this bone right there. It was too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, just I was having issues with that girlfriend, like I said. I did a video. If you look on my YouTube channel, I did a short. I've been meaning to do a longer video when I put the importance of making sure that you're with somebody who is good for you and only moves you ahead positively. Mm-hmm. I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah,
right?
Me too.
So yeah, I got a bad record.
Mm-hmm.
One day I'll tell you some stories. They're pretty bad.
But, I think a lot of people do, man. That's just. And I'm sure the same could be said for a lot of girls out there who've dated a lot of terrible dudes. You know what I mean? But once you find somebody that's compatible, it's like, whoa, this is what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah. It's actually kind of funny. I was telling you about that kid that I was training at work, right?
Yeah.
And we were actually having a talk about this, and he was. I'm going to do a video on this too. I had planned on doing it, but I'll cover it a little bit here. He was talking about how he just wanted to meet a nice girl, right? And being that, where I've changed the trajectory of my life, and I'm trying to build a life now instead of letting life just happen to me, right? Mm-hmm. So I said, well, what are you doing to meet a nice girl? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, what's your plan? Like, what's your way up to go about meeting a nice girl? And he said, well, I got a Tinder profile. I'm like, you're not going to meet a nice girl on Tinder, man. Yeah. That's not going to happen. Yeah. Right? The girls with daddy issues and who are just looking for some fun are on Tinder.
That's right. Probably have 30 other dudes on the go at the same time. Like, yeah.
And then he's like, well, I like to go like dirt biking and quadding and stuff. And I'm like, it's a slightly better class, but you still got to be really careful. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know if you've ever been to a mud bog, but you got the mud honeys. Right? And the class level, I'm not saying anything bad about them. They're just having fun. I totally understand. They're kids. They want to go out and have fun, but it's not very classy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, yeah, that's a little bit better, but like, you're still taking some risk. And he's like, well, I go to the bar, and sometimes I meet nice girls at the bar. I'm like, you remember how we were talking about nothing good happens after 12 o'clock?
Nothing good happens after 12 o'clock.
I was like, man, you are not meeting any kind of nice girl at a bar.
No.
If you're meeting a girl if you do meet a nice girl at a bar, she's been drugged there by her friends.
That's right.
She does not want to talk to a guy. Mm-hmm. She is kind of freaked out. Yeah. And she just wants to go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, what do I do then? And I said, well, do you go to church? I said, are you religious? And he's like, no. And I said, get religious.
Yeah.
Go to church.
Yeah.
Right?
Really, though.
Yeah. The girls who are going to church, they're by default. Yeah. I mean, except for some churches. Catholics are really bad at making people feel... I just fucking went after the Catholic Church.
Well, I don't know. They've had some priests that have went after some folks themselves. So. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Catholics have a really, in my opinion, I'm not clowning on you Catholics, but I think they tend to let you get away with a little bit if you do some Hail Marys.
Yeah, pretty much.
So a girl can still go to the bar and be a good Catholic as long as she says the right Hail Marys, right? Yeah. Yeah. So not clowning on you Catholics, just you know about it too. Ask any Catholic boy, he'll tell you. Yeah. I got it out. I just got to do the Hail Marys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But
that's like a lot of the mafia guys, Catholics.
Yeah, they're all Catholics. They just gotta. Father had killed a guy.
Yeah, I might have killed a few guys, but give me a couple of Hail Marys.
Father's like, again.
Yeah. Come on, Tony Soprano. Come on, Tony.
Yeah. And the Catholic Church has a little bit of an illegal association themselves.
Yeah.
They've been known to do a few sketchy things.
A few terrible things. Just shift some people around after some terrible things have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somehow no repercussions.
And you know, even just the way they treated their own people through the Middle Ages and stuff was a little messed up. But and you know, I'm going to come right out and say it. I got a little bit of an issue with the Catholics right now. I feel that the Catholics have bent too much to woke culture. The Catholic Church itself, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
I've seen a few clips that I'm just like, what is happening?
So the Pope, this was a year or two back. He actually said that the Catholic Church was considering Muhammad to be a prophet of Jesus. Muhammad never said anything about Jesus.
No.
In fact, said if you believe in Jesus, we gotta kill you. Mm-hmm. Right. So
he was also talking about about like being pro-gay, and they were doing. There was a bunch of clips that I was watching, like where there was like trans pastors and priests and stuff, like in the church and stuff too, and it was like, what is going on? No,
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I just don't agree with that.
No, me neither, man.
I was actually, I'll finish off this point. So I was going on with the kid. And I was like, you know, another thing you can do if you want to meet nice girls, and you know, all of you can take this advice as well. Go to church, right? That's just a way to meet quality people. Generally, if you find a good church, like there's some bad churches out there, you got to shop around.
That's right.
You got to shop around, right? I'm not going to say that any of them is a bad choice. It really all comes down to the quality of people that you're seeing in a church. Even different churches in the same kind of church in different cities might be completely different. Yeah. Find your thing, right? The other thing I told him is get involved with something that has to do with fitness.
Yeah, that's usually a good way of doing things. Yeah.
Generally, if a girl or a woman goes to the gym, takes care of herself, and cares about her health, she's generally pretty confident. Mm-hmm. And confidence leads to you caring about yourself and caring about what you make out of yourself, right? Yeah. So if you can get to find a girl who's into fitness and into taking care of herself, I mean that's gonna be a good girl too, right?
I actually met my lady at eHarmony. Yeah. Believe it or not. And I would suggest it to almost anybody.
eHarmony?
Yeah. Because it was like the questionnaire you had to fill out. Yeah. Took like 2 hours.
I remember. I used to have an eHarmony account.
And like so like the people it sets you up with is like right up your alley, right? Nice. So like when me and Nicole actually met, it was just like perfect match. Yeah. And then we talked to a couple other people that met off there after that too, and like still together to this day.
Nice. So, that's really cool.
Yeah, we've been together 15 years now. So I'm sure eHarmony's still a site, but
I don't even know. It's been so long.
It's been so long. We only needed it that year. So
yeah, I mean, it's been me and Patricia have been together for 7 years now. Yeah. And, you know, there was a time in my life about 3 years ago I actually considered the person I was before that to be a different person from who I am now, right? Yeah. Like I'll always say, I smoked for like 37 years or something, and people ask me if I ever feel like I'm gonna try it again, and I say the person who smoked doesn't live here anymore. Mm-hmm. Right? That person's not in here anymore. I'm a completely different person. So I think of myself as a different person than what I was back then, and I would go as far as to say that my wife Patricia is a different person than what she was back then too. Yeah. I mean, you always have your kind of building blocks, but you have different things you can work on within yourself to make certain things more important and other things kind of not so much, right? So you're kind of always the same person.
You're always evolving though.
Yeah, but you're always evolving. You're kind of like certain things are becoming more important. Mm-hmm. I was always concerned with being a good man. Yeah. I just didn't really know how to do it, right? So I thought the way that I did it was I just tried to act good. Right? Yeah. And excuse me. So and now that I've kind of gone through the process of doing what I had to do to become what I am now, I kind of see it a little more, right? So we got together 7 years ago, and it was on Plenty of Fish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Plenty of Fish, I don't know. There are plenty of fish on there, but damn, the fishing sucks because you throw a lot back. It is rough out there. Right? I mean, that was
there ain't a lot of keepers being caught. I'll tell you right now.
That was 7 years ago. I remember we had a talk. We talked about the people who we each tried to date on there, and she had some horror stories. I had some horror stories, And you know what? We got lucky.
Yeah, you bonded over your horror stories.
Yeah, we bonded over the horror stories. And we had a really good first date.
Yeah.
Right? She was going to school in Cranbrook to be carried, which is what she is now, right? So obviously she cares about
people. Cares about she likes to help people.
So, that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good sign, generally. So yeah, she was a carried and she was going to school to become a carried. She just gotten out of a bad relationship. Not that recently, but far enough out that she was ready to move on. But it was rough. She had a couple of rough ones.
Mm-hmm.
She'd been married and she got married to a guy that turned into an alcoholic.
Mm.
And when they got married, he was a Class 1 driver, made good money, took care of business, did his shit, and by the time they divorced, he was a drunk and he'd lost his license, and she was supporting him.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a bad situation.
Pretty big change from
yeah,
what you got into.
Yeah, for sure. So she went through that, and then she got together with another guy who ended up being a piece of shit to her, and so it was pretty rough. And so she kind of started over and went to Cranbrook, from Salmo to Cranbrook, and so she's going to school, and we got together and played fish, and we had some good conversations, and so I asked her out on a date, and we talked about where to go, and I thought, you know what? First off, I did something that I always did with my dates, which is this is a good tip for you guys if you're ever going on a first date.
Mm-hmm.
Make the date you go out on the date one that you remember.
Yeah.
Right? December 1st.
There you go, yeah.
It's impossible to forget.
Yeah.
Right? If it's December 16th, it's like, that's...
Yeah, what day was it again?
Yeah, what day was that again?
Yeah.
Hopefully Facebook remembers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
That's funny.
So yeah, I made sure. I was like, let's go December 1st. I said, I'll take you to Banff. We'll go out there, we'll have dinner, we'll walk around. Banff is a beautiful community.
Yeah.
In Alberta. It's about a 3-hour drive from Cranbrook, give or take. And she sends me a message back, and she says, I will go on a date with you to Banff, but you have to make me a promise. I'm like, what's that? And she says, if you decide you don't like me, don't leave me in Banff. I said, I promise. If this is the worst date ever, I will still give you a ride back. Right? So we went on this date, and it was actually really good. Banff was all set up for Christmas, and they had this kind of little festival going on.
Yeah.
And they had this guy set up he was going to do Christmas carols. They were going to sing some Christmas carols, and so it was about, when we found out about it, it was about an hour out for a walk, and we were excited about seeing the Christmas carols. And then when we went back, it was time for the Christmas carols, so we hurried back, and we got there, and they were the worst Christmas carols I'd ever heard in my life.
You gave it a shot.
Yeah,
but
she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I would never do this for anybody. I must like you.
Yeah. Yeah. Still together this day.
Yeah, went out for dinner, and we ended up actually, we got along so well. We ended up by the time we were finished there, it was too late, so we ended up getting a hotel room and staying in Banff that night.
Yeah, nice.
And I won't talk about that.
The rest is history, as they say.
Yeah,
as they say.
But yeah, we got really lucky. We grew together, and she's the kind of person who she's a good Christian girl, and she believes that the man is the spiritual leader of the household, right?
Mm-hmm.
So luckily, when I decided to make some changes, she was like, okay, let's do it. And then she kind of came along with it too, though, right? I mean, she's, in the time that we've been taking care of ourselves, she's lost 50 pounds. She goes to the gym all the time, and she's, she's just way more, she cares way more about that kind of stuff now than she used to.
Yeah, good, man.
And she's, her self-confidence has flowered. Like, we've both become better people.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, that's huge, man.
Time. Yeah.
It's huge to grow together instead of one person wanting to be like the crab in the bucket pulling you back down when you start to want to be a little better.
Right.
Better yourself a little bit. And then you have them be like, well, what are you doing that for? Man. Like, let's not do that. And then, pulling you back down because they don't want you to be basically bettering yourself.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately happens in a lot of relationships, man. It's like I don't know what it is, man. It's like they refuse to grow, so they don't want you to grow, right? They want you to just stay miserable too and have a reason. to be miserable is just, I don't know. To me, it's like, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you should be thrilled when they want to do something to better themselves, man. Right. And it gives you a little spark. Yeah. Too. Mm-hmm. Like it does for me and my lady too, man. Exactly the same thing. Since I started like going to boxing and stuff, my lady's going to a exercise thing here in town at the in the mall there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like 5 a.m. Yeah. So she goes at 5 a.m, gets up and gives her. So yeah, nice. It's awesome.
Good for her.
And yeah, that's how ours goes too. It's like when one person does it, it tends to help the other person get into it again too. It's not the opposite way where the one person's going to be upset about it, right? And be like try to drag them down. Like that's not right. You know, you don't need to lose anyway. You don't need to be healthy. You're fine the way you are. Yeah. And it's like if they don't think they're fine, then don't be telling them that everything's fine.
Yeah. No, for sure.
You know, and I think that could be a problem too when you say that everything's perfect all the time when you know it's not. If somebody doesn't think that they're perfect and they think that they could do better, be there for them to be like, yeah, you know what? If you want to do better, you go for it. Yeah. What do you think you could do? I'll help you out. What do you need to do? You know? Exactly right. Yeah. I think that's important too. Mm-hmm.
And that goes really well along with like what I was saying earlier about how that's a classic example of if you get together with the wrong person, it can mess up your whole life.
Oh yeah.
Because if you get together with somebody who is gonna just berate you and call you down the whole time you're together. What was this quote? I remember this quote. It was something like, you can never shame a man into being a better man.
Yeah.
Because if you throw nothing but shame at a man, he will become what you're telling him.
Yeah, become that. Yeah, exactly.
He'll be like, fuck it. It's not worth it. I'll just be that.
Yeah. That's why I think it's so important in relationships in general not to be like name calling. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Don't ever be like calling your partner stupid. Mm-hmm. Or things like that. If you like call your partner stupid, mm-hmm. they're going to think they're stupid, you know, and be like, my partner, they think that I'm stupid. So whatever, then I guess it doesn't matter. Like you can't, that just gets inside. Like that would really hurt my feelings if somebody said that to me, right? Yeah. And it constantly was like saying that to you every time you did something. Yeah. What were you thinking? You're so stupid. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You know?
That's horrible.
Yeah. And that's supposed to be somebody that you love and they're saying stuff like that to you. So yeah, don't be name calling your spouse for one, like because that's something in my opinion you can't take back, no matter what. Even if you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was mad," it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't say stuff like that. So you got to learn to control yourself and understand. Like some things, I use a saying usually is like, you got to pick your battles when you're in a like. If you want to have it, you got to compromise too. It's like some things, they might get under your skin. Some things that your spouse does, or your lady does, or your boyfriend does. But it's like, is this going to be the hill you're going to die on? You're going to make this a huge deal, whether it's like something about the dishes or some little tiny thing, you know, that happens all the time. And you're like, yeah, I could get mad about this every day. But is it really worth, like, look at all the good things we have in our relationship. Yeah. Do I need to focus on the one thing that's a little bit, that bothers me a little bit?
Right.
No. Yeah. Like you focus on the million things that are good and the million things that person does for you, like, and you weigh those out and you're like, the good far surpasses anything that's negative about this relationship. You know what I mean? But some people just need to focus on the one negative thing all the time. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, he does all this and that, but look, all he does is go to work, you know, and then just comes home and he's tired. It's like, no, well, you know, he did go to work all day and you're spending his money, like, you know, not just that. I mean, there's lots of scenarios that come into play, but that's like one of them where people like they want all the attention from their spouse, whether it's boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife, but at the same time they want all the money and they want all these things. Well, you can't have it all. No, you can't sit at home all day and hang out with you and make a bunch of money. It's like, so it's got to be one, or, you know, unfortunately it's got to be kind of compromise. Yeah. You know, we're going to have some time together, but if you want bigger and better things, I need to do a lot more work. Yeah. That's just how you get them. And then they get people like they grow, what's the word? Like, I don't know, they just get upset that you're not there, you know, all the time.
Resentment.
Resentment. That's what I meant. Yeah. They start resenting you. And it's like, well, I'm doing this for you.
Yeah.
You know, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be doing this stuff, but I'm trying to better our lives for you. You know, it's a situation I see a lot online where people are talking about it, you know, and like all over, you see a lot of wives saying a bunch of crazy stuff about how, like, I was watching one here recently. My wife was showing it to me, actually, I think, But this lady was like talking crap about her husband constantly, and she'd do all these TikToks and Instagrams or whatever, right? She's like, all he does is work all the time. I'm gonna leave him. I'm gonna divorce him in a year. And she was doing this all the time, and apparently she one of his coworkers seen it and was like, look at this, and showed it to her husband. And like the next video she posted was, I can't believe it. He came home, said he saw all the videos and divorced, he divorced me and left. Yeah. And it's like, good for you, man.
Good for you.
Yeah. Like, who is this chick? Like, what are you fucking doing? Why are you trying to clown your dude in public? Trying to clown your husband or your man, somebody that you supposedly love? That's just like, I would never do that with my lady. Like, if we had a disagreement and we were in a group of people, I would never like ostracize her and clown her in front of a whole bunch of people and say something, like I would just never do that. That's terrible. No. It's like, if you could bring it up when you got home, be like, that was kind of weird when you said that when we were out. You don't need to make a big deal about it when you're out.
A lot of times stuff like that comes down to they just didn't think about it. Mm-hmm. Right? They didn't think of exactly what they were saying. And that happens to everybody. Right?
That's right.
You're a little tired, something pops out. You didn't mean it the way it sounded.
Yeah.
And for sure.
But some people just can't hold back.
Yeah.
And they'll just like start a big fight in front of all their friends and everything, try to embarrass the person in front of their friends and stuff. It's like, I've had that happen to me in past relationships. I've seen it happen with a lot of people in relationships, man. I remember one time, man. This is a crazy one. We were at a party one time, and it was all of our friends hanging out, and this a couple that we knew were getting in an argument about something, and somebody said the dude was talking and I can't even remember how he was talking about a celebrity, and he said that they were hot, and the girlfriend freaked out about it. Like, it was she's so insecure, and was like, I think that people are hot too. Some of them are at this table, and I'd fuck some of them.
Wow.
And it was like, what?
That's a little hardcore.
Like, that's a little different than saying Beyonce's hot, or a celebrity.
Yeah, sure.
Just took it completely to a whole other level, right? It was that was completely unnecessary, and just tried to make them feel bad. Yeah. So they left. Needless to say, you know what I mean? End of the night for them. But it was that's how people will do it, too. They'll just I've always been weirded out that if people can't say it's a celebrity, somebody that you're never going to meet. Obviously, girls, they have that too. They have guys that they're they think are hot. That's part of life. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be if she's watching a show, I'll be like, well, that guy's cute. Is he just smashed my TV? Yeah, I don't think so. Go to his house. Super jealous like that. I don't know, man. Some people just, I guess,
that's wild.
Can't handle it.
Jealousy is horrible.
It is, man. Terrible. It's exactly. Yeah. I'm not. Back when I was my first girlfriends that I ever had, I remember I was pretty jealous. Yeah. It's just because I was also insecure myself and never even knew all the new feelings you got when you're first getting with girls, when you're your first ones and stuff that when you're in high school, I remember being pretty jealous, but after that it was totally different. Yeah. I was I didn't care at all.
I kind of figure now that if you're with somebody and I've known some people who are just unbelievably jealous, jealous to the point where that became what everybody remembers about them, right? Mm-hmm. And when you're in that bad of a situation, that's no kind of life.
No,
right?
Definitely
that's no
not.
Kind of life at all. And I know it's insecurity and some kind of anxiety, and it's neurons firing in a certain way in your brain, and it's probably not even something they can control. But at the end of the day, you got to do something.
No, for sure.
Right?
That chick who said that at that party too.
Yeah.
Completely said that just to make him mad, right? Yeah. She didn't want to bang anybody at that table.
No.
You know what I mean?
But you know what? He left that night thinking that there's a possibility she wants to bang somebody else.
Exactly, right? And that's what she wanted.
And you can never get rid of that.
No.
He's going to think that for the rest
of they broke up a little, not that long,
That's that's a killer, right?
Yeah, because it was, and I'm sure that there was a lot of that stuff going on behind closed doors, in other situations that we just happened to see the outburst that time. Everybody seen it. It was instantly the whole place just got super quiet. It was whoa. Yeah.
That one's south.
Yeah, that was offside. Everybody could agree that was offside.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You got to be careful, right? You gotta treat your partner with the same respect you want to be treated with. Mm-hmm. And
saying things like that, you're pretty much asking for big trouble. Your relationship's not going to go anywhere after that. Like, just calling names, and then there's like that kind of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a million ways to sabotage a relationship. I would go as far as saying that jealousy is like one of the absolute worst.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I was in the oil field, in the wintertime especially, we always had to go up north in the winter, right? So 2 weeks up north, 1 week back. Sometimes you'd stay on for an extra shift, you'd be out there for 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we got this new guy this one time, and he was jealous.
Mm-hmm.
And by his second day, it was his first time ever working in the oil field. It was actually a funny story. He'd been a banker his whole life.
Quite
And
the big change.
He decided he wanted to get into the Wild West.
Yeah, no
right?
kidding.
He wanted to get out there and try working on the rigs. So he came out with us. And by his second day, he was like, I know my wife's cheating on me. I know she is. And then he's like, I gotta go back. And we're like, plane leaves in 2 weeks, bud.
Yeah. You can't just go home.
You can't just go home.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, give me a ride to the nearest airport. We're like, hitchhike.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're leaving us stranded up here down a guy, you can fucking hitchhike.
Yeah. Yeah, no shit.
No fucking, did not care.
Oh my God.
Right? And the guy's like, he woke up in the middle of the night. It was funny. He woke up in the middle of the night, and we're staying in this camp, and right above our heads on our beds, there was a shelf that came out about 12 inches. And he jumped out of bed in the middle of the night, absolutely sure that he's like, she's cheating on me. Boom. And fucking turn on the lights, blood fucking coming down. He hit this shelf up above him. And yeah.
If he's so certain, she probably was.
She probably was.
You know?
Yeah.
And he just, for some reason, never wanted to admit it before, but now he's like, now she's got all the opportunity in the world.
Yeah. And he only lasted that one shift. I remember another one. So we're cementers, right? When you drill a well, you drill the well, you pull the drill pipe, you put in casing, which is just a round pipe, right? Mm-hmm. Which is what the oil or gas or whatever comes up. And then once you put the casing in the ground, you got to cement it in. And that was our job, right? So we'd hook up to the top of it. We would pump cement down however many meters, like 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, depending what we're drilling for and how deep it was. And we'd pump the cement down, and we'd pump it till it came back up around the outside, right? And then we'd send a plug down, and it would latch into the bottom of the pipe, and that's what held the pipe in place, right? Mm-hmm. And then fracking is when they come and they hook up to that, and they send a tool down, and they fracture the cement.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what fracking does. They fracture the cement so the oil or gas can get through it and make a cut in the pipe. So we were cementers, and we went out on this job. It's like 45 below or something stupid like that, and so my job, I wasn't a supervisor at the time. I became one later on, but my job was, at the end of the job, was the supervisor left to do his paperwork and deal with the consultant and get paperwork signed and go over the job and everything. And my job was to clean the cement truck, right? It's this big mixer pumper. So there's lots, like every pipe in it has to be flushed out. And so we get a tank full of water that's on the truck, and we use that to rinse everything out, right? We had this little wash hose to get the outside, and in the middle, and the cement bin itself to rinse down the sides of it. And so I hook it up, and I go to use it, and it's full. It'd been full of water, and it froze.
Yeah.
Right. So I take it off and hand it to this banker guy, and I said, "Hey, take this over to the rig. Take one end of this hose, put it on the end of their steam line." Because they had steam lines to unfill everything.
Yeah.
Put it on the end of the steam line, turn the steam line on, and when steam starts coming out the other end of this hose, bring it back to me, right? So I'm on the truck, and I'm going through, I'm rinsing all the pipes, and I get to the point where all I got left is I got to rinse out this bin.
Yeah.
This bin that mixes the cement. And so now I'm waiting for this hose. It's the last thing I need, right? So I'm standing there and I'm waiting. I look over and there's steam coming out from the rig, and I'm like, okay, well, he should almost be done. And then the steam clears for just a second, and I see that this guy has the steam line and the hose that I gave him on the ground, and he's stepping on them both, and he has the end of the hose that's at the end of the steam line, the other end's at the other end of the steam line, and the end that's not going to the steam line, he has it up to his ear. Right? I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I jump off the truck, I run, right? And I run, and I slap that thing out of his fucking hand, and I said, what the fuck are you doing? And he goes, I'm listening for steam.
Oh my
I'm
god.
like, dude, it's fucking steam.
Yeah, you can see it, dude.
Like, if that goes in your fucking ear, you're
Oh
never
my
hearing
God.
anything ever again.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so after that, he decided not to come back. We didn't even have to fire that guy.
Oh
He
man.
was done. That was the end of it for him, so.
It's amazing some things that you see that people do. There's a lot of fuckery that happens with like new people too, right? You'll see all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't really like seeing the fuckery.
Yeah.
But it's because like somebody's new and usually like they're really nervous because it's a new job, so they'll do whatever anybody tells them they're doing, right?
Yeah.
And so I was X-raying welds on pipelines before, and I remember the welder would be in front of us. They're doing their thing, and he had a new welder's helper, and they're like, "Okay, somebody comes up," and they do this. I've seen it like I don't know, probably half a dozen times over the years that I was doing this, where they'd have a new guy and they bring a Pepsi bottle cut in half with the cap on it or whatever, right? Still. Yeah. And they give it to him like, hey, we need to do spark collection. We got to test the sparks or whatever. They're like, so when you fill this thing up with sparks, come let me know. So like the welders welding and stuff, right? And the welders helpers, they're like trying to catch all the sparks. And they're like, sometimes, man, they let it go for hours.
Yeah.
Everybody's just like 50 welds in and there's nothing accumulated in this bottle yet, right? And he's like, I'm trying to catch him. I don't get it. Like freaking out, man. And then eventually they're like, you idiot. Like, it's a joke. Okay, it's a joke. Yeah, there's like that kind of stuff all the time, right? Oh, it's like, oh man, you want to. At some point, you're like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, sometimes you're like, you're new too, so you're just like, I guess this is what they do. Yeah. You got no idea, right? So it's like, I guess these people catch sparks sometimes to test them. I don't know. Like, oh man, you feel bad for them, but at the same time, you laugh your ass off because it was like, it was pretty funny.
It's a funny thing too, right? Because there's lots of joking that goes on in the oil field. It's hard work, so when you got hard work, guys will joke hard, right? They'll joke in hard ways. I've heard of guys filling guys' boots up with grease.
Oh yeah.
Filling guys' gloves up with grease, so you got to put your glove on it, right? It's absolutely full of grease. The worst, but you hear some crazy shit sometimes too. Just guys like, I remember one guy on a rig once. The guys didn't like him very much, and this will happen too. If guys don't like you, they play bad jokes, and somebody poured some fucking caustic powder in his gloves.
Oh Jesus, dude!
Which is fine when you put the glove on, right? But as soon as you start to sweat, that caustic powder starts eating your skin.
Yeah, like literally eats your skin. Yeah.
Right, so guys do some crazy stuff too.
And for like a banker to go into that position too, is like he had no idea what he's getting himself into.
Not a clue.
Dude, when I first started ironworking in Edmonton, this is pretty crazy too. We might need to edit some of these stories out, but this is like day one, right? I got this job. I was working with all these native guys, and I was dating the boss's daughter. I might have told one of these stories before, maybe on the show, but I know might have told you them in the past. Yeah. I told people at work, but I worked with this entire family of natives. They all worked for this guy. We were like hauling rebar, building skyscrapers. It was a pretty cool job, and it was like one of the tougher jobs I ever did. Best shape of my life too.
Yeah.
But like day one, I go there, and he's like, Ray, the boss, goes and puts me with this guy. It's winter time, and he's like, hey, you'll be working with Justin today. I'm like, okay. I go over there. The first thing he says, he's like, hey buddy, what's your name? I'm like, I'm Donovan, man. And he's like, hey, Donovan, do you ever watch bestiality porno? I'm like, what? I'm like, no. Like, do you? And he's like, oh, fuck yeah. I watched this one the other night, this huge stallion just giving it to this big fat white chick. I'm like, Jesus. Like, this is like literally minute one of my job. And I'm like, what did I get myself into, right? Yeah. So we got to work with this guy all day. So he's just talking like that, like nonstop. Right, all day I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I've never heard anything like this before. So I was like 18 at the time, I think, when I started working there. So we didn't have a lunch shack or nothing at the time either. So like, this is still day one. We got to sit in his blazer that he had to eat our coffee break or whatever, right? So we're eating our lunch in there, and I'm sitting in the back seat. Justin's in the front. His dad Reggie's in the back seat beside me, and his other guy's in the front. And Reggie gets out with the other dude, and Justin like turns around from the front seat, puts his face like this close to mine, and he's like, hey Donovan, who would you rather fuck, Curtis or my dad? I'm like, oh my god, like what? I don't know. I was like, who would you? And he's like, Curtis is probably pretty big. But dude, it was like with those dudes, It was hilarious.
Oh, yeah,
Just constant, dude. They were some of the funniest people I ever met in my whole life, man. Just constant rousing, like, the whole time. But if you were, like, I was able to take it and I thought it was hilarious, right? Because, like, I love jokes.
Yeah.
But if, like, some stiff guy went in there, like, oh my God. They just imagine how many calls to HR you'd get nowadays. You know?
Well, you'd only get so many before somebody's buried in a ditch.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because that's how the oil field works.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nuts, dude. Yeah, so there was stuff like that all the time with those guys, man. One time we got, this just made me think of these guys. One time that it got shut down. It was so cold, right? The tower crane wouldn't even turn. It was all iced up. So it was like 10 in the morning and they sent us home. And we go over to Curtis's place with Reggie and his whole family, Justin and all of them, right? And they're just drinking beers. Like, let's go, we'll get shit-faced. And I'm like, I guess. It's like 10:30 in the morning, and I'm like, want to be one of the boys?
Yeah.
By noon, dude, I was so drunk. I was like at the side of a 7-Eleven. I didn't have a cell phone at the time even. That's how long ago this was. I remember walking, like I was completely annihilated. And I walked to the frickin' 7-Eleven. I did you use your phone? And they're just like, fucking, what? And it's like middle of the day, and I'm just that guy, completely annihilated. They gave me their phone. I called my buddy. I passed out outside by the garbage can until my buddy came and picked me up down in South Edmonton. Yeah. Like 1 in the afternoon, dude. It was like one of the most embarrassing times of my life, man. Crazy. But like, yeah, those guys so bad. It's like, I don't know. You look at some companies in some ways that the places work, and then how other places work. Yeah. Like, because I've worked at some pretty formal places where everything's got to be. All the boxes got to be ticked. You got to be dressed a certain way. You got to talk a certain way. And then there's that. You know what I mean? Where it's like day one and you're just asking you questions like that. And just they're completely annihilated. Like one time we ended up working a whole long weekend. He was paying us like $300 a day cash. Yeah. So we were going to get like $1,200. We got paid every week too. So, but just for those 3 days, we were going to make $900. It was like pretty sweet. Justin was a recovering alcoholic. He hadn't drank in like a year and a half, or maybe it might even been more than that. After we got paid the $900, we go to work the next day or whatever, right? No Justin. Yeah, sure. Go to work the next day, no Justin. We ask Reggie, his dad, like, what happened to Justin? He's like, I don't know. I think he might be on a bender. We come back like a week later. Reggie, we're like, what happened to Justin? He's like, oh, he's in the hospital. Got alcohol poisoning. Oh. Yeah, he couldn't handle it. He got right back into the booze. Yeah. But also at the same point, some of the hardest working dudes I've ever met in my life, dude. Yeah. One of them, Buster Pete was his name, which is a pretty awesome name. Yeah, Buster Pete. But he never brought water, never brought food or anything into work, no matter what, right? It'd be like plus 30, no water all day. His lips would just be white from like dehydration, right? And the one day he brings a tin lunchbox to work, and I'm like, Buster, buddy, you finally brought some food, eh? Looks at me like a minute, he's like, no. Opens it up, just full of tobacco and rolling papers. Nice. Yeah, classic.
Oh, rough.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know just how we got to talk about that, but yeah, it's just like funny with like a banker. He probably had an idea about what this was going to be like.
He's going to be a cowboy.
You know, yeah, but he probably thought even that, you know, it's going to be like a bit rowdy, but you know, they still got some rules and regulations. Yeah. They got to talk a certain way. Now, man, no, there isn't any of that in the oil field or even in like construction and shit, man. If they don't, the good thing is, like with that job, they all liked me. Yeah. So it was like
that's super important.
Yeah, I with most jobs, like I can get along with most people. Yeah. But if they don't like you, man, they'll make your life terrible. Yeah. Yeah, like it's no fun.
I remember I had this one kid I had to have a talk with one time. So we were cementing crews, right? There was 3 guys on the crew, 1 supervisor, and I was a supervisor by this point. And this kid came on our crew fresh, and he was slow and lazy. And we kind of had a rule in there, right? Like, not everybody can work at the same level, but as long as you're trying. Yeah. Right? And when you get thrown into the oil field's nuts, right? For somebody just going in.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, as long as you're trying, if you're making excuses and we can't get you to get up and you're not doing any work on purpose, you're trying to slough it off on other people, like you're not going to work out. That's right. Yeah. And the way it worked with cementers is we were on call 24 hours a day. So if you didn't do your job, if you didn't do your job, that meant somebody else had to do it for you, and we had to take extra time, and that meant we couldn't sleep. Yeah. right? So I had to take this kid aside and I had to say to him, listen, pretty soon the rest of the guys on your crew are going to take you out behind a dumpster. And they're going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And I'm not going to stop them.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting you know right now.
Giving you heads up.
Yeah, you pick up.
Yeah.
You pick up.
Yeah.
Because those guys want to kill you because they have to do your work for you.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you pick up, you do the best you can. We don't expect you to do things you can't do, but you got to do the best you can.
At least try.
You got to try.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that poor kid started trying at least.
Yeah.
And we averted a disaster. But yeah, the boys basically told me, they said, you say something to him or he's going to go home bloody.
That's like that scene in Full Metal Jacket. You ever watch that movie?
Yeah.
With Gomer Pyle. He's like that big guy who ends up shooting the drill sergeant or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But he was always fucking up every drill, everything that they had to do. And that the one dude there, Joker, was like the drill instructor, put him to try to like get him to figure out how to do shit properly. And they ended up like holding him down in his bed with his sheets so he couldn't get out, and they put those bars of soap in their bags or their pillowcases, and everybody in the whole platoon came and hit him.
Yeah.
Because it's like every time that he fucked something up, they made the platoon have to do all the push-ups, have to do everything, right, to try to fucking... Yeah, but that's how it is sometimes, man.
That's how it is.
If you're gonna make the whole group suffer, and you're not picking up the pieces, man. Yeah, trouble. We got some back.
We're back.
Had a little overheating going on there, gang.
A little bit. We were messing around with stuff, trying to get the audio to work properly. And something I thought was going to take 15 minutes took an hour and a half, and we were recording the whole time. So we had a little bit of a heat issue with the camera.
Got a little hot.
Yeah, we had to let her cool.
You know what else is hot? People's tempers in the old Canada.
People's tempers are pretty crazy right
when
now.
you're talking about, well, basically anything political nowadays. But yeah. People are so divided talking about Alberta. Because Danielle Smith, like just the other day, came out and said that she doesn't want. They're passing a law to block all federal regulators from coming in from wellhead right to their main oil field head offices in Calgary or wherever. That they're not even allowed to step foot in. And God bless her.
Yeah, God bless her for that.
All of a sudden, what drives me nuts about the whole scenario, and there's going to be all kind of lefties that are just want us thrown in jail for treason. Mm-hmm. But how is it all of a sudden Canadian energy?
Yeah.
You know? All they've done is bag on Alberta for the last fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
Alberta's the devil. Everything is Alberta's the devil. The pollution, Alberta's the devil. And all of a sudden now they're like, who do you think you are, Danielle Smith, giving away our energy?
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean ours? You guys fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Up until the government, or the news started telling you that you need to be super pro-Canada all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's almost like the C word, the old COVID, all over again. Where people are just fucking brainwashed. And doing whatever the government tells them to do. But I think that old Danielle Smith is smart, man. Like that's what, because what she's doing is like, if you in the states have a lot of power.
Yeah.
Compared to the federal government, like even in California for a long time, right? Like they allowed like weed dispensaries and stuff like that. And they were the first ones, right? And then federally it was illegal,
federally against the law.
but the states legalized it, right? So. It's like the provinces, I was just reading an article because that's what she wants to do. And she's like, the article was like, but critics are saying that she's not allowed to pass laws that go against federal law. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, then what's the point of having a province?
Yeah.
If they can't even govern themselves, then what is the point?
And like, you know, she's doing what she can, right? I mean, if you even look at guns, right? When the Liberals started doing all these gun bans here, every province has CFO, something firearms officer.
Canadian
firearms officer. And most provinces have let the federal government handle that, but the provinces did have the ability to do it themselves. Mm-hmm. So they had a federal firearms officer in Alberta that was hired by the federal government, and they let him go. They removed him, and she made her own office for a CFO, for a firearms officer. And the direction that they were given was that the Alberta government was not going to was not going to actually go after anybody for breaking the laws.
Yeah.
Right. So if you didn't give up your banned weapons, the Alberta government and the provincial CFO were not going to charge you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The issue that there is that the RCMP are covered under the federal.
They're a federal police force.
Right. So they will.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was an issue for a while there. People thought, well, okay, well, I can take my guns to the range. I can take my guns that are banned out to the range.
Yeah.
If you get caught by the CFO or anybody who works for them, which is the game wardens.
Yeah.
Right. Then I believe it's game wardens.
Conservation officers.
Conservation officers.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they're covered under the CFO, then they would not touch it. Right? Pretend they don't see it is basically what they come up with. But yeah, if you get pulled over by the RCMP and you got one of those, and all of a sudden you have a banned weapon.
Yeah.
And they pull your right to use guns. They go to your house. They take all your guns.
Oh yeah, you could lose your truck. You could lose so much shit. You can go to jail. Like it's big deal.
So I mean, she's doing what she can, but at the end of the day, the RCMP still work for the federal government.
Yeah, that's been a problem with the RCMP just in general too. Mm-hmm. Like they're basically just another arm of the like the Liberal police, the Liberal force now. It's like, right? Like everything. We talked about this, I think, in a previous one, but how there was after stuff with the old C word happened, how it was actually the police came out and said that they were using propaganda, and like the government was using propaganda, and they knew about it, and it was like some kind of they were testing propaganda to see how well it would work.
Oh yeah, that was the Canadian military.
Sorry, the Canadian military. The Canadian
military admitted to it.
Yeah.
Well, didn't admit to it. Some whistleblower went to a news agency and said, which is weird because we never heard about it after that.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes to show how bad we censored our news is.
Ours news is terribly censored here, man. Yeah, we got. I don't know. I just think it's so funny too how. If you would have been pro Canada a year ago, the people that are super pro Canada right now would have been like hating on you for being pro Canada. Seriously, they would have been. Oh, for sure. They would have been like, "Who do you think you are? We need to care about all these other countries. Canada's nothing special." Blah 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 blah. And then all of a sudden you're like, Canada. All of a sudden now these people are like, "I bleed the maple leaf, man."
Yeah.
You don't even care about Canada. You never have. Like, that's why we've had this turd puncher in there, old Trudeau, who's destroyed our country, and nobody said a word about it the whole time. So it's like, but now all of a sudden you care?
On Canada's 150th anniversary, Trudeau's government put out a statement telling people not to fly the Canadian flag because it angered the immigrants that we had that were recently moved to Canada.
Yeah, and you know who was all about that? The same people that are now saying that people who are opposed to or who considering the 51st state thing and all that are just even just Trump supporters in general are the devil and should go to jail. Yeah. It's like the same people that are saying that were also the ones saying that don't fly your Canadian flags. Yeah, it's racist. Yeah, so it's like I don't know. They just literally do whatever the news tells them to. And we're probably guilty of the opposite, right? Like when the news tells us something, we just know it's bullshit.
Yeah.
So we do pretty much the opposite, right? Because it's like I don't even need once you're aware that the news is bullshit, it's so easy to see it. Yeah. It's so easy to see that it's nonsense, man. It's like, and it happened all the time with Trump, and it happens with Pierre. It happens with all kinds, mostly on the conservative side where they get censored. But they'll show a clip of somebody talking, take it completely out of context and say, oh, look what this person said. Yeah. Look how dangerous it is. Then you go look at the source material, the original video of the whole thing, the whole hour-long speech that they took 10 seconds out of. Mm-hmm. That's not what they said at all. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's like completely different. But for some reason, people, they want to believe in their idea so bad that they don't even want to go look at the source material. Mm-hmm. They don't care about learning the facts as long as it supports their crazy idea, right? That this person's Hitler or this person's still... It's crazy. And P.S. We've mentioned this in the past too, but I mean, I'm pro-Trump, pro-freedom, and I'm pro-smaller government. Mm-hmm. So I'm pro-Doge, like what they're doing over there. Yeah. I think that we need something like that here. I think that it's absolutely hilarious that Democrats and people are finding that that's bad, that finding government corruption and all the waste is a bad thing somehow. They're like making it. I watched this freaking comparison this chick made on the View, where she said Doge and Elon Musk are like a crazy ex-boyfriend or an ex-boyfriend who is cheating, and when you go look at his phone, it's literally the exact opposite of what she said. The point she's trying to make. It's ridiculous. This was her comparison. She says, say your boyfriend's cheating, you go look at his phone, and you find all these texts that he's cheating, and you say, hey, look at this, you were cheating on me. And they say, well, what do you mean? Why are you going looking through my phone in the first place? It's like, that's literally what you're doing.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, your comparison is complete dog shit.
For sure.
Yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. You're getting mad because he's finding corruption. Just like you finding texts on his phone and you're getting mad.
Yeah.
Like, you're fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
It's wild.
Yeah, terrible comparison. And she actually proved Elon's point, pretty much. Yeah. But she was like, look at how smart I am. Her like point, thought she was so great. And it was like, it was exactly like the Antifa people who are fascists. Same thing. It's just like, it's like they're trying to prove a point, but it's like you're completely in the wrong. You're that person.
You're that person.
Yeah, you're that person that you're complaining about.
You are the brown shirts of the Nazi government.
Yeah, exactly.
You are out there fighting against freedom.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
It's baffling.
Antifa blows my mind.
Yeah. And just in general, too, like that's pretty much what, I don't want to say all of them, but it's like, because I don't like lumping in all liberals with people, but it's like, don't just do whatever the government tells you. Like, why is the government so great? What have they done? What do they do? When has the government ever done something that you're like, that is amazing. Good job, government. Like, never. Very rarely do they do something where it's like streamlined, works well, cost effective, Very rarely is it like that. Usually it's like, cost way too much, took forever, there was corruption involved, bunch of people got paid off, half the money never went to where it was supposed to go. Projects, when it does get finished, isn't properly done. It's like, that's usually how government work gets done in the end, you know what I mean? It's never good.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Antifa and I think Black Lives Matter had that big riot down in Seattle or Portland?
Oh yeah.
Portland, they took over that part of the city and they call it Chaz or
Yeah.
I remember there was this guy. He was one of them, right?
Yeah.
And he was staying in a tent in Chaz, and he came out and he left there, and he got interviewed by a news source that was willing to show something bad about these people.
Yeah.
And they asked him why he left, and he said, "Well, I had this tent there, and I was doing some writing so I could document what was happening, and I had a laptop, and I went out for a little bit, and I came back, and my laptop was gone. So I thought to myself, well, maybe somebody needed it more than me. So I went and I bought a new laptop, and I came back, and then I went out for a little while, and I came back, and that laptop was gone too. And I thought, these assholes just keep stealing from me."
Yeah.
So I left. I got the hell out of there.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you remember, but the mayor of wherever that was, where Chaz was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was pro, like she was like, yeah, take over what you want, have your little area
I
there,
know.
right? And she was like, these people are protesting for good and for change, and then they broke into her house.
Yeah. Exactly.
And she was like, these people are criminals.
Yeah, exactly, man. She was letting it go when they broke into police stations.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
Like, it's despicable behavior on their part. You're supposed to be leaders.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be leading by example, and you guys are just completely encouraging this terrible behavior. And that's what's going on right now. I'm not opposed to, like I said before, like what we need is a strong leader ourselves to fight back against this. Did you see that Trump said that he prefers to have Carney in?
Yep.
You want to know why? Because Carney's weak.
Yep.
He's a weak human being who's already shown that he cares more about the States than Canada. He moved his company to New York. Mm-hmm. So,
then lied about it.
Then lied about it.
Said he had nothing to do with it when he signed the declaration or whatever.
Exactly, man. So it's like, and he's moved his other companies. actively advised Trudeau against supporting pipelines here in Canada, and then he supported companies building pipelines in Brazil and in other countries and stuff too, where it's like, he's just such a hypocrite. He's making money hand over fist in other places, not putting any of it into Canada. But do you think anybody's actually going to look into this?
No.
Nobody cares, man. They're just going to do exactly what the news tells them. And as far as the news goes, Nate, Carney's a god, man. No. Carney's a god. He helped all these countries out through all their hardest struggles, through all their financial crises. He's been there for them. And it's like, exactly. What's the thing? He's been there when that's happened.
Well,
Bank of England.
Yeah, the Bank of England, the Prime Minister of England. I remember I saw this interview. I believe we talked about this already to you. But they asked her. I think it was her. Mm-hmm. They asked her what it was like to work with Mark Carney, and she's like, he was horrible. Yeah. He printed way too much money and put us into way too much debt. And our finances were horrible under Mark Carney. And they were like, oh, well, despite that, what did you think of him as a leader? And she was like, he was a horrible leader.
Yeah, he was terrible.
Everybody was unhappy. The Bank of England was in a horrible state when Mark Carney was there. Yeah. Same thing. He came to the Bank of Canada, and guess what he did? He printed a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm. Exactly what happened.
Exact same thing.
Why do you think inflation's so bad? Yeah. And he was one of Trudeau's head economic advisors.
He was the
guy Trudeau. He never had a voted in position in Parliament. So that's how he's able to pretend that he's an outsider. Yeah. It's like, you're not an outsider. You've been involved in government. Even when you're in the Bank of England, you're involved in the government. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And the only thing that Mark Carney... So now as he's become the Prime Minister, which is insane, by the way.
Yeah,
Nate.
Which is insane. He's our Prime Minister. Nobody voted for him. What the fuck?
So he did this thing. He did this Trump-style signing in front of press, where he signed a piece of paper, and he said, "That's it. I've gotten rid of the carbon tax, the consumer carbon tax." Well, I did a little bit of research, watched some videos on some people who know some things about how Canadian law actually works, and he can't just sign something and make it go away. It's a law.
So what he did, from what I've seen, is that he didn't take it away.
No, he just made them stop taking it.
He lowered it to 0%.
Yeah.
For the moment.
Temporarily, right?
Temporarily. So he lowered it to 0% until he gets voted in. Yeah. And he's like, well, now we have to up it, because I just watched another clip the other day where he said, apparently, if you want to trade with the EU, you need to have a carbon tax.
Have a carbon tax, yep.
But how's that? Because the US doesn't have a carbon tax.
Yeah,
they trade with the EU.
Right.
It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You're full of shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if that is the case, that's completely ridiculous. Yeah. That's like the globalization of crap that we don't need to be a part of. You know what I mean? But
so let's be brutally honest. Right now, the Liberals are going to say whatever they can to get voted back in this next election. The polls are looking a little weird. They've gone the wrong direction. And it is looking like there's a possibility that Carney's going to get voted in. I'm seeing in some places are saying that the polls are wrong, that they're overly polling in certain areas to make it look like they're going to get voted back in, because most of the people who do polls also want the Liberals to get in. So they're kind of
I don't trust
leaning
polls
that way, right?
I don't trust polls. But what I do, just because I feel like my BS meter's pretty good when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I can just tell how they've whitewashed all of his credentials and stuff and made it seem like he's just this frickin' knight in shining armor ready to save Canada. It's I can tell that they're really pushing for him.
Yeah.
So it depends what people. This has been a perfect opportunity for them, for the Liberals too, to stay in power. How this whole situation played out with Trump and everything. Yeah. It's like Trudeau was able to resign for 2 months, stay in power, and then not have an election. Singh not push for an election, still not pushing for an election. Yeah. Now he's saying that this is an emergency. This is Singh saying this. Yeah. This is an emergency. It's no time to be having an election.
Yeah. And now apparently Mark Carney is going to call an election.
Yeah, exactly. Because after he's already
look okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's already. And honestly, I don't think it's going to be right away.
No.
Personally, I don't think. I think it'll probably be a month or two away still.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be in the next week like it should.
Well, no. Apparently, once an election is called, it has to be between a month to 2 months.
Yeah, but I don't think he's even going to call it. I mean, I don't think he's going to call it.
They're saying he's going to call it tomorrow, but who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But so either way, the election won't be till. So what is it now? It's the end of March. So I'd say, yeah, it'll be like April or May when the election is. And by that time, I don't know, dude. By that time, it's like people's memories are already going to be forgotten the last 9 years, I have a feeling. And that they're going
It's
to
a new guy, right?
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah, he had nothing to do with Trudeau.
Yeah. He says I know economics because I took care of 2 banks, so
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. I'm going to fix the economy.
Yeah, that's right.
He's not.
No.
I mean, let's ruin that story for you.
Yeah, let's be honest.
He's not.
No.
That's not going to happen.
And he's also very weak when it comes to like Trudeau's. That's why Trudeau wants him to be in there.
Yeah.
Or sorry, that's why Trump wants him to be in there because he's weak and he knows he can feed up this guy and make him do whatever, bend down to America's will too. That's why because I am still a strong Canadian. Like, and I think like as much as I like Trump for the way he's doing things, for shaking up the swamp, and doing the government efficiency and stuff like that with the Doge. Like, I think that's all important. We need something like that's similar here, but I think we need our own kind of a Trump guy. But not that he's Trump, but Pierre, who's like
strong.
Yeah, he's strong. Says logical shit that's like clearly makes sense.
Yeah,
and it doesn't just like have word salads all the time that just don't make any sense at all. Because like that's the whole liberal mindset is like, if I say a whole bunch of words together in a sentence that don't make any sense, people will just be like, okay, like because eventually that was Trudeau's whole thing.
Yeah,
he did that for the last 9 years.
Well, he drinks some of his cardboard water.
Yeah, exactly.
Cardboard water bottle, plastic, cardboard kind of thing.
Oh my god!
Whatever the hell he said in that interview that he tripped over for 15 minutes. I think you're going to see over the next little while, we've got an interesting situation. For our American friends out there, you're going to see some pretty crazy things during the course of this election. The bullshit's going to fly. Mm-hmm. Oh, the bullshit is going to fly. It's going to fly like crazy. And the Liberals have set themselves up in a certain way here. The Liberals have been funding the heritage media, the regular media for so long. The regular media is 100% pro-liberal and have proven that they will lie for them. Mm-hmm. Have proven it over and over again. Justin Trudeau even said he was some dinner and he was giving a speech and he was joking around about how it was surprising what
750 million.
What 750 million could get you with the media.
Yeah, exactly.
He knows exactly what he did.
Yeah. So
then they did something really crazy too. So they came out with this law here in Canada that's in place right now that if you own a site like Google, Facebook, TikTok, any of those sites, and you put a news article up without paying the Canadian Heritage media for the use of those articles, then you are going to get this massive fine. So most of these places have stopped showing Canadian news because they're going to get fined for doing it. So now you've got an interesting situation where people in Canada who don't know where to look for the real news, the news that's not been faked by the Liberals, if you don't know where to look for that, all you can really see is what the heritage media puts out there. Mm-hmm. All you can see when you look on TV is them, because the real media sources that are willing to report on the stuff don't have TV channels.
Yeah.
You can't go online because even the good media sources are blanked out. Yeah. on Facebook or all these other places, so you can't see their content unless you go straight to their page. Yeah. And most people don't know where to look for them, so all they're seeing is, if you're in America, literally it's like somebody shut down Fox, and all you got CNN.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
That's the situation we're in as Canadians.
Yeah.
All we've got is CNN.
And PS, we never even had a Fox.
No.
Here.
No, we didn't.
All of our media's here. CBC, CTV, Global. They're all left-wing.
All left-wing.
And we don't have any conservative viewpoints on our news at all. Haven't for like a decade.
Yeah.
And yeah, not all of it. Everything is opinion pieces, right? There's no actual journalism going on. No. I think what would be a great idea for Pierre to do, man, which he should be doing, and I'm surprised he hasn't. He only did one podcast. He should be hitting up podcasts left and right, like Trump did.
Pierre, come on.
Come on. You. Yeah, come on.
We'll take you.
Come on.
I think let you tell your truth.
That's right, because you need to. I actually was watching some people bash Pierre about it because he refused to come on their podcast, and some of them were like huge podcasts.
Yeah.
And they're all giving him grief because the only one he does is Jordan Peterson. He did one podcast.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, what's up with that? Like, I appreciate him because I love Pierre. And he gets out, and he's been doing a ton, man. He does all these town halls where he's going and meeting people directly, which is huge. Super important. He goes to all these factories. He goes everywhere, right? And he's constantly meeting with people on the ground. And that's great. But you also need to get your name out on a worldwide stage, too. And doing it on podcasts would be like a great way to do it, because that's what Trump did. He went on like Theo Vaughn's podcast. He went on Joe Rogan. He went on like the Logan Paul and those guys, Jake Paul's podcast and stuff too. He went on all kinds of podcasts, and that was like, they seriously contribute that to be one of the reasons why he won. You know, and Pierre could be doing that right now.
And you know, Pierre does something too. Like even if he's worried about getting on a podcast where they ask him. Where they ask some stupid liberal question that's so far out of left field and untrue. Like this happens to Pierre all the time. He always gets questioned about, stupid questions, questions that are leading, questions that are designed to make him look bad. His real strength is he knows how to turn that around.
That's right.
Right. He's far better than Trump in that situation.
Oh yeah.
Right.
He's really good.
Right. Trump just kind of, a lot of times will just get mad and tell him, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And Pierre will turn it around and he'll be like, no, you're the idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is why.
Yeah, he is good at that.
Right.
He's a good speaker, man.
He is.
And I think that's why he'd be really good to have on a podcast. And he gets his point across. Like when he was on Peterson, it was a great podcast.
It was,
yeah. He did a great job explaining himself. And Peterson asked him some good questions too. And he was like, we know who you are, but like who else in your cabinet is important that we should even care about? Like, do you have people that follow your beliefs in your cabinet? Are they all going to follow you through when you do this kind of stuff? And he asked a lot of good questions. But I was kind of shocked too in the end when he only did, that was the only one he did. It was like, what's going on? Kind of
weird. He does maybe it was.
Why are you doing so many interviews with CTV and CBC and all this crap when you know that they're just going to twist your words?
The only thing I can think, in my head is that he didn't want to blow all of that before the election.
Yeah.
He went on with Jordan Peterson probably because Jordan Peterson is a Canadian.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of you Americans know that, but he is a Canadian. He's now moved to America because he's so sick of what's going on here in Canada.
He's totally had enough, and rightfully so.
Yeah. But he's born here in Canada and lived most of his life.
He was an Albertan.
Yeah, he was an Albertan. Yeah. And so he knows what he's talking about when he talks about Canadian issues. But so, I would imagine Pierre has a great amount of respect for Jordan Peterson. And when Jordan Peterson made the call and said, hey, can you come on? He was probably like, that guy,
yeah.
Right? And maybe he's thinking all these other podcasts that he gets offered, maybe he's thinking, if I blow this too soon, then what do I do during the election?
Yeah, I need something. Could be. I hope so. I hope that he does more when the election actually rolls around.
And maybe he knew that, the Liberals going in, like, they're grasping at anything now, right? Like, this is our new superstar, Mark Carney. Look at this guy. And they're grasping at this so hard. Maybe he knew there was no way he could fight that. He had to wait until it died down a little bit, the election was called, and then hit it.
I hope so.
So maybe he's just holding his breath until he's ready to... it's like having a 6-shooter and seeing somebody behind a tree and trying to shoot him through the tree.
Yeah.
Right? And no, you're like, no, let's wait for him to come out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's wait for him to get a clean shot. Fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that could be. Hopefully, man. I hope that he comes out with some more ammo when he.
One thing I would say about him is that when he was in Stephen Harper's cabinet, he was the hitman for Harper. Yeah. He was the guy who went after guys.
That's what Harper even says.
Yeah.
And Harper said that he was great, man, too. And he's like, and Harper doesn't talk a whole bunch in public anymore. But he does say that, Pierre was pretty awesome. So, and I think that it's pretty obvious for anybody who just looks at it. Like, tell me something that he said that seems outrageous.
Yeah.
It's like, I can tell you all kinds of shit that's outrageous that the Liberals have said over the years.
Sure.
But he's very practical when he's saying things. Like, it's not like he's making stuff up. He's very practical about what he's saying. And a lot of it makes perfect sense. You look at it, it's like, yeah, no, that's definitely happening. We do need more money. Our money has been going to crazy places too, because he's kind of brought that up too, about making the government smaller, and taking a good look at it. I think that they're so scared too, because same thing as over there, like they're worried that they're going to get found out.
Yeah.
They're going to get somebody else in there. They're going to go look at it and be like, look at all this corruption that's happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think that they want to be found. I think that Singh is just as guilty of that as anybody else, man.
I think you're right. I think they're fighting for their lives right now. I think they're worried that they've done so much that's illegal that when they get a new prime minister in charge, you got to remember too, right? Like I was saying, the RCMP are federal. Mm-hmm. So if the RCMP start looking at a say Justin Trudeau, for example, Justin Trudeau can be like, nah, I'm your boss. Go that way.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Justin Trudeau has shut down a lot of.
Yeah, there's way too many investigations into him for there not to be any convictions or anything. Like.
So he's so that's a mess, right? So I think they're worried that if they get somebody else in power who's going to be willing to set the RCMP after them, that. I think we may be seeing a position almost where they're gonna like go crazy if they do lose. Yeah,
could be some. Well, I think it's going to be very similar to what we're seeing in the States right now.
Yeah,
I think that they're going to see all the news totally against Pierre. You're going to see him. He's going to be Satan. He's going to be Hitler. He's going to be the worst thing that could have ever happened to Canada.
Yeah,
Well,
they're already kind of saying that.
I know, but it's going to be way worse, right? Because they were saying that about Trump before too. But now look at it. They got whole countries against him. They got everybody against him. You know what I mean? And I mean, not that it's all not Trump's fault either. Trump's done a lot of crazy shit, saying that he wants to take over Greenland and make Canada the 51st state. He's definitely. That shit probably could have waited until a year or two. Yeah. Like honestly, from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
I probably would have started with the Doge. That would have been like, okay, started with the Doge. Mm-hmm. Not started with I'm going to take over Greenland. We're going to take over Canada. Government efficiency. We'll deal with that too. It's like everything on day one. You know what I mean? It's like almost too much, and that's why they're like calling him a totalitarian and all this crap, right? Yeah. I think that stuff probably could have waited a little bit
for sure.
Before he started bringing up that craziness.
Yeah.
I think that hurt him myself. I don't think it helped him in any way. But
I think so too. I think what his big worry is that he's not going to have enough time to do what he needs to do.
I mean, he did almost get assassinated.
Yeah.
So I kind of get what he's,
And also, too, right, it's pretty traditional in America that the House and Senate are 2 years, they're staggered, right? Mm-hmm. So presidential election, House and Senate.
Yeah, and they have they have it all right now.
So he's in power for 4 years, but he's only guaranteed House and Senate power for 2.
Yeah, so he's got to make it happen.
Traditionally in America, the House and Senate flip. Mm-hmm. After 2 years into a president, it's kind of a check and balance, right? People go, yeah, I voted for this guy and I want him to do what he's going to do, but I don't want him to have full power, so I'm going to vote this way.
Yeah.
For
the next time.
So to give him a check, right? Yeah. Because if the House and Senate go the other direction, then he loses his ability to just pass whatever he wants.
Yeah, because right now he does have that.
Yeah. So right now for 2 years, he can go crazy, and so maybe the plans he's got. He figures 2 years is what he needs.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see that.
Yeah.
That's why he's trying to get as much done in as little time as possible, too.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of avenues for it, because for one, he almost got killed. For two, he's got time limit, got cut time constraints, so he's like, I'm done waiting.
Yeah.
And he already had 4 years, and he didn't do enough. And he had, he trusted the wrong people and shit. Now he's got a team in there that's, willing to go to bat for him. And
he tried doing it their way. The first time.
That's right. Yeah.
Tried playing by their rules and they beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. Yeah. They still tried to arrest him afterwards. Yeah. All that
which
crap.
Which is unheard of.
Yeah.
For it's kind of a thing after. Look at what was his name? The guy who Watergate.
Yeah, Nixon. Yeah.
They just let him go.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah.
That's you let a president go. That's been a thing forever. Every Democrat, Republic, you let the president go.
Yeah. Which, it's funny because we were just talking about it here, but Trudeau.
Yeah.
Me personally, if I found out that he, some of his $95 million that he's worth now, that he stole, or that he got through corruption, I would expect him to go to jail. There'd be consequences.
I hope he does.
But I think there's almost a 0% chance of that happening. But
I'm kind of hoping that Pierre will, because I kind of feel like Pierre hates him enough.
Yeah.
Right, that he might go that direction. And you know what? I feel like that's a thing that Canadians have also done. The outgoing government kind of gets a pass, right? So it's okay. You had your time. You screwed it up real bad. We'll take over now,
That's right.
and they move on, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like this time he did too much and too much on purpose to wreck the country.
Yeah. No, I agree. He did a terrible job, and all the shit he did do, man, was like for his own benefit too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like because he did it under the guise of being humanitarian, feminist. Yeah. But anybody who's looking at it, it's like, oh no, you profited personally off all of this stuff.
And look at all the shit you did to all the female cabinet ministers.
Exactly. Like, none of it was real. You're just a fake human being.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Elbowed one in the breast and said it was her fault or something like that.
Yeah, and all kinds of shit too.
You might have allegedly, not even allegedly, just it's possibility that maybe something happened to a very, very young girl and she now has a non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
The Wilson Ray Bomb, who's the district or the attorney general or whatever, right? And
can you name one Canadian who's been in blackface? I only know one.
Yeah, and he's been in too many times to count.
Yeah, he doesn't even know. He's like, Jesus, what do you know about? I'm only going to agree to the ones you know about. Which is what he basically said.
This is hilarious. I actually had a dream about Trudeau the other night. It was hilarious. I don't know how. We were partying somewhere in, I must have been in Ottawa. But we go to a place and it's Trudeau's place. And he's got like $1 million fucking boats everywhere and shit, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm a billionaire. And he's just like balling out that he's a billionaire and everything. And everybody's like, how'd you make this money? Like, in my dream, he was just corrupt as fuck. Yeah. And everybody was like calling him out, and he was just like doing drugs and shit, doing blow, partying. Yeah, I was like, I woke up and I'm like, what the fuck, man? I was like, that's probably a taste of reality. It's probably what he's doing now. Probably, yeah. He's just like, on his off days, just been partying hard the whole time and shit too. And then his
hasn't he taken more holiday days than like any prime minister?
Oh yeah. Ever? And you know that it was just like not a big deal that his lady left him. Nobody even talked to her ever again. Yeah. Nobody interviewed her. Mm-hmm. Like, what's up with that? We need to get her on our podcast. Get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, if she wants to come on the podcast, feel free to.
Yeah.
We'll be a lot nicer to you.
Yeah, we'll let you talk. Yeah. We'll let you talk.
Say whatever you want.
Say whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Yeah. Because we want to know what the heck's going on, and I feel bad nobody's ever talked to you about it.
Yeah.
Because nobody ever has, as far as I know. I don't think there's been one interview with her.
No, I not that I can think of. I think if anything, there was a couple of she did a couple magazine articles, but it wasn't about him. Mm-hmm. Like it was like fashion or something. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember.
Not even talking about the situation.
Not even talking about him. And I think she's probably scared too, right? Because she's got kids with him. He's a strong. Yeah. He's got strong ties.
Yeah, he's got power.
He can do things.
Yeah.
And he's proven that he's willing to do things to women using his power that
yeah, that's right.
Make him just a piece of shit of a human being.
Yeah, and he certainly is. Yeah, he certainly is, man. And now we got Trudeau 2.0.
Trudeau 2.0.
Yeah, with Carney in there, so.
Somebody, I just watched this thing, I can't remember who it was, but they were saying, with Trudeau, we had somebody who was a puppet of the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. Now with Carney, we have somebody who is part of the World Economic Forum.
That's right.
Right? He's in there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's ensconced in the World Economic Forum.
They basically took out the middle manager and they sent us the big guy.
Yeah, it's funny. I was watching it. I actually was reading his article where somebody was talking about how everybody's so upset about becoming the 51st state. Well, how about we'll just be part of the EU then now, the European Union. It's like, because that's basically like what the hell we're doing now with him. So
if we become part of the world of the European Union, like it's going to be a disaster.
Oh yeah, it'd be way worse.
Just I don't know. The European Union has open borders.
Dude, yeah, I'd be
open borders.
I think that's almost impossible too. But it's like government-wise, I think that we have a very similar dude in there. Yeah. So maybe it's not going to be. We're not going to be part of the EU technically, but he's basically part of them. So he's going to be running it very similarly. Be hating on trade with the US, but he'll be all about doing whatever he can with the EU. And look at how Europe is right now. It's a shit show. Yeah. With the open borders. Mm-hmm. Like there's just...
It's a mess.
It's a fucking mess.
Like, if you look at the politics, and that's another... Here in Canada, like we never saw any of this, right? Like, actually what happened in Europe, the riots, the people throwing Molotov cocktails at government, like the farmers literally shooting shit at government buildings.
Yeah.
We never saw any of that here in Canada. The only place you could see it was Twitter, because Elon made that place a bastion of free speech.
That's right.
Right. So if you wanted to see it, you saw it there.
Nazi.
I know.
What a Nazi.
But I mean, it's scary what was happening over there. And most governments in Europe now are moving very, very far right.
Yeah. Well, it kind of tends to be how it happens. But let's see what happens, because I don't know. I don't see it sticking like that. I just think that there's too many new immigrants over there and stuff. Like the open borders like that. Like that. There's just no. Because I'm all for having immigration. We need it.
100%.
But like we've talked about in the past, like I want somebody to move here who's going to be a contributor to the country, who's like actually going to work hard and not just come here and be like, I hate Canada. You know what I mean? Like that's the shit I hate. If you're going to move here, appreciate it, because it was cool at one point. Now it's a piece of dog shit almost. But
you see that. I don't know if you saw the videos of the illegal immigrants coming into Europe, like the caravans, like literally like filling up roads, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of immigrants just walking down this road. And you know what? I took a good look at those, and there wasn't many women and children.
No, it certainly wasn't.
It was all single men.
Yeah, it seemed like an awful lot of military age males.
Yeah. It sure looked a lot more like an infiltration than an immigration.
That's right.
Let's be brutally honest. If I got a mom and a daughter and things are going really bad in my country and I got to leave, I'm taking them with me.
Exactly. Yeah, you stay behind in there. I'll go set up shop in this safe place over here. Yeah, you guys stay in the shite hole over here. No, the exact opposite would probably be the case. Be like, I'm sending you guys first because I know it's safe over there. I'll follow when I can.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tie up all the stuff in this terrible area.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, and then like, just the crime and everything that came with it, the immorality, the rape and murder
and I don't want that here. It's already starting to come here. It's like, and I just did.
Did you hear that Walmart has now decreed that all across Canada they are going to stop selling machetes or any bladed object over a certain length unless it's like a gardening shear?
What?
Yeah. You know why? Because machetes are being used by what tend to be here in Canada. Believe it or not, another thing too. We're not allowed to call them immigrants. When they break a law, we're not allowed to call them immigrants. We're not allowed to call them Middle Eastern. We have to call them Asians. Right? That's what so you'll see an Asian man took a machete into a mall and started hacking people with them. Well, the guy wasn't very Asian.
Yeah.
The odds are pretty good. In fact, I've seen a lot of times the media that, like, Rumble or what's that other good one? Rebel News.
Yeah.
You go on there and they'll be like, yeah, here's a picture of that Asian guy, and he's pretty obviously Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
And it's a mess. So now Walmart is going to quit selling machetes. I don't know. We go out in the woods a lot here, and a machete is actually a pretty important tool.
Yeah, it's very useful, man.
Right?
And it's just like, that's how we do it. Instead of getting rid of the criminals.
Yeah.
We'll just be like, that's just saying, it's exact same thinking as guns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we'll just make them illegal.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you think that guy can't find another weapon or he can hack people? Yeah, he can. There's always going to be a way to hurt people. Maybe get rid of the people that want to hurt people. How about that? How about you send them back immediately?
Yeah.
And then we keep the shit that the law-abiding citizens can use, you know what I mean? Yeah. To protect themselves against nut jobs like that guy. And
you're absolutely right. They're going to find a way, right? If they can't use a gun or a machete, they're going to rent a U-Haul van for $30. Yeah. And run it through a crowd. I mean, we've seen that happen.
All the time. That's happened a lot.
So it's what are we going to do? Make Cuba?
If you're a lunatic, it's pretty easy. You know what I mean? You don't have to have a gun.
Yeah.
In fact, you could probably do more damage with the U-Haul.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, so these rules are just made to bring the normal citizen down, right? Like, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good for us. Yeah, it hurts us in the long run, for sure. Because how I look at it, how I've always looked at it, and how I explain to everybody about it too, it's like, the main reason why I want to have guns, and some people are like, that's ridiculous. There's never been a government in all of recorded history it hasn't turned on its own people.
No.
Like, so that is a way. That's why they have the Second Amendment in the United States.
Yeah, they planned for this.
They say that.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah.
It's to basically keep a government from becoming tyrannical. So you can defend yourself from your government.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I wanted for too. It's like, because then there's at least some checks and balances. Yeah, it's going to be hard to fight a tank with guns. But you know what? Vietnamese did it in the Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
You make it so the guerrilla warfare style, man. It's like, at least if we all are armed, they know they just can't walk in and do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And that we have no recourse. Because there will be people standing up and fighting back. And that's why I like to have them too, just in case. It's not because I want to go do anything. Like, I want it so that they have to think about it.
Yeah.
So that they don't just have free reign over us. They have to second guess themselves. Like, well, there is people out there who are going to stand up against this. Like,
that is one nice thing about America, the way their government works. They've just got the series of checks and balances is something that we don't have here in Canada.
No.
And they're just, even if you look at what's going on with Trump right now, they're all, everybody's, he's doing so much so fast. Like, look at all the crazy things he's doing. If he does something actually illegal, they can impeach him. Mm-hmm. And when they impeach him, he stops being president.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
They can pull him out of the presidency using impeachment. We don't have that here in Canada.
No.
Right?
No, because Trudeau would have been impeached a dozen times.
Well, he was.
Yeah.
Right?
Found guilty of ethics violations.
Guilty of ethics violations, which is basically an impeachment.
Yeah.
And the fine for that is $500.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nothing.
Right? So yeah, it's we have just here in Canada we have no way to pull a government.
No.
Right? And them wanting to get rid of all of these guns, like Canadian legally sold weapons are never used in crimes.
No, except now because we sent them over to Ukraine.
Yeah, now they're being used in crimes over there.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Which is completely ridiculous as well.
Yeah.
But that's our forward-thinking liberal government for you. We don't want guns here killing people. We want to send them away to go kill people somewhere else. Like, oh my God, man.
Yeah. So
the world's ass backwards, guys.
The world is ass backwards.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
And you know what? Here in Canada, I love, even apart from hunting, I love just going to the range and shooting.
Yeah.
There's just something therapeutic about it.
Yeah.
I love to go there. We're all very well trained with our guns. We have to be we have to take courses to get the ability to buy guns. And we're generally very respectful when it comes to using our weapons. And we store them properly and
the large amount of people are very they take the proper precautions. It's not, because in the States, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
They'll have a mom just freaking rolling around with a 45 in her purse with nothing loaded.
Yeah.
Dude, they're walking around, their guns are loaded all the time. Why don't you just don't have them loaded? You know how many innocent people would be saved just from that?
Yeah.
Children shooting themselves by accident because you're just walking around with a 45 in your purse with a bullet in the chamber?
Yeah.
Lunatics.
And the kid grabs it, oh, look, a toy.
Exactly. No. Our shit's locked up, which I'm not saying it need to be, but I mean, that's not a bad idea. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it would be nice if we had handguns available to also be able to protect ourselves with. Yeah. But, there's nothing wrong with having just, I think that if we should be able to have it like in a nightstand that's locked in or something, you know what I mean? But making everything have to be in a safe with trigger locks on them, and we're extra safe with our guns here in Canada, and we're still making them all illegal. Yeah. So it's just ridiculous, man. It's like, it doesn't matter what we do as law-abiding citizens, how good we can be. It's like there's one shooting down in the States, and they're like, oh, time to take away more guns in Canada. Yeah. Like, that has nothing to do with us. What are you guys doing?
And they're...
You sons of biscuits.
Like, everybody talks about the AR-15, right? The AR-15, how crazy it is. It's an assault rifle. It's absolutely horrible. Nobody should ever have a reason to own it. You should be able to buy an AR-15 and take it to the range. Mm-hmm. Right? If you want to take an AR-15 to the range, you should be able to do it.
I agree.
Right? It's crazy that it's like they want to leave us with
Nothing.
nothing.
It's exactly what it is, man. They want us defenseless so that they can sweep in and do whatever. They're like, oh, you guys don't like it? Too fucking bad. Yeah. Oh, you don't like our COVID restrictions? Yeah, too fucking bad.
Too fucking bad.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like the fact that whatever we're gonna make a liberal government forever? Too fucking bad. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing, because you guys can't do anything about it now.
So we're just about to go into phase 2 of the Liberals came up with this gun buyback program, with this idea that we would be able to sell our guns back to the government and get our money back for them. Phase 1 of the program was that they would get all the guns back from the stores. Mm-hmm. Right, all the guns that they could no longer sell, they would get them back and pay them for them. And they've received all these guns back now for the first couple of bans. Probably not for the last one because it just happened. But for the first couple of bans, thousands and thousands of good.
Yeah, like 3,000 different variants of guns now.
And so they've received all those guns back, and their payments that they've put out to these stores have been a grand total of $0. They have not paid for a single one of these guns. And now they're telling us that we're getting close to the buyback for people who just...
Which they're not even supposed to know who to,
Yeah.
Because but somehow they're going to know.
Somehow they're going to know.
Yeah, right? Because they're not registered.
Yeah.
Like, because that shit's all gone by the wayside.
We don't have registration.
We don't have registration for guns. So it's like, but somehow I guarantee they're going to know. Be knocking on your door. Hey, you bought this gun in 2008. It shows here. It's like, how the fuck do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow I guarantee you they got records.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're going to end up in a situation where they're going to expect us to give our guns back, but they have not yet set up a program to pay us for them. Mm-hmm. So we're going to end up losing our guns with no monetary.
Yeah.
With no money coming back.
That's right, man. And honestly, that's like the least of my concern about it. Thankfully, I don't have any of the guns on the ban list yet.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that they're not going to be. They're banning every other gun. They're going to be banning. They've already banned lots of normal hunting rifles, shotguns, and other things. So I would not be surprised if all guns are illegal in the next 5 years. If there's a liberal government comes in, if Carney comes in again, I could almost guarantee guns are going to be illegal. Yeah.
Me and myself, I'm a big fan of lever action rifles. Mm-hmm. Most of the guns that I do have are lever actions, except for my hunting rifle. And I mean, who's going to say it doesn't come to the point where they go lever action holds too many bullets? For sure. And then a lever action goes away. It's the most traditional hunting rifle in Canada.
Yeah. It's just going to be guns in general, right? They're just going to be like, look, guns kill people. You guys can't have guns anymore. Yeah, you're pro serial killer if you want guns.
I heard a rumor that they're saying that we don't get enough people putting in for limited entry anymore, so they might get rid of limited entry. If they get rid of limited entry and they go, well, not enough people buying hunting licenses anymore, let's get rid of hunting. And then they're like, you don't need guns. You don't hunt.
Exactly. Yeah, it'll be super special circumstances.
Yeah.
Where you have to buy a gun and only your guide will have to supply your gun to you or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And only the police will, of course, they'll be allowed to have them.
Yeah.
And people who protect the government, they'll be allowed to have them.
Mm.
Yeah, but not you, Joe Blows, out there. You're dangerous.
Yeah. You're well trained and you've never actually done anything to anybody with them, but we're gonna have to take them away from you.
That's right.
Because some guy stole a gun in America, sold it to somebody in Canada, and they shot someone.
That's right. Bad Canadian citizen. Yeah. Thinking for yourself, wanting to be self-sufficient.
Dude, it's 1984.
What's the matter with you? Yeah, what's the matter with you? What are you doing? Trying to support yourself or what? Are you trying to be self-sufficient? You're trying to not listen to what the government has to say? You're a bad citizen.
Yeah.
Just like the old in China, what do they got?
Social credit.
Social credit, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna. I would not be surprised. I think that's what they were trying to bring in originally with the COVID.
Yeah,
social credit.
I think so too.
Thank God for the truckers, man.
If you agreed with us and you go along with what we say, you get this little vaccine passport.
That's right.
You can go wherever you want. If you don't agree, then too bad.
That's right.
But we're not telling you have to do it. It's a choice.
That's right. Make sure you report your neighbors too.
Yeah, that happened.
Make sure you report your neighbors. If they're not getting vaccinated, you make sure you shame them and tell everybody that you disown them.
If somebody had too many people over, call the police.
Yeah, call the police on them. Yeah, it's your job as a citizen. Yeah, you need to. If you care about humanity, that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
That's how quickly they turn it over at people. People are just like, hey, you know what? You're right. I better do what the news tells me.
You see some kids playing hockey? You better call the police on him.
Yeah, you better call the police on him. Yeah. Church congregation happening outside?
Police
immediately.
Yeah.
And we're back again.
Yeah,
a little overheat central here.
Yeah, I just pushed her a little too hard earlier when we were trying to set up, and cameras just seeing a little bit too much heat, and so we had to let her give her a break for a bit.
Cool her down. Unfortunately, we ain't gonna be able to do a full length one tonight because she's already 12:30 at night here. This one, not that you guys can tell over in internet, but she's a late one. It took us a little while for our setup here today, getting the new mics and everything, and we were supposed to have a guest on today that just didn't pan out. Yeah. So we're hoping that next week, when we do our podcast next week, we're gonna have one on, and we're gonna have some cool subject matter to talk about. So we're hoping to have one guest come on, either this one, hopefully, or the next one, but talking about the state of our workforce and how it's struggles and stuff that we're dealing with just hiring people and hiring issues and the people coming into the workforce, overall the quality of the workers. Yeah. And then we also have another guest that's going to be coming on here too. Hopefully he's from New Zealand, and he wants to talk about some of the differences between Canada and New Zealand and stuff, and talk a bit about his background and stuff like that, which is really cool too. I'm super interested all the time to hear people coming from other countries over here, the pros, the cons, stuff that they like, stuff that they don't like, stuff that they thought was going to be a certain one way, and to come over here and it was something completely different. So I'm really looking forward to that one too. Yeah. Kind of getting a different perspective on the pros and the cons of Canada. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. Yeah. And
then we got one more guy maybe coming on, and he's going to be an interesting one. He's a liberal who has said that he would come on and have a respectful conversation with us about the difference in our beliefs. So I'm kind of looking forward to that one. I'm really hoping that it stays respectful. He's 8 feet tall.
Yeah, he's a giant. Yeah,
and he's a big boy.
Yeah,
he just moves and he wrecks things. So,
and he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
He's just a big guy, and for some reason, one thing I don't like, if you hear us, Eric, he always says he's a dumb truck driver. You're not a dumb truck driver.
Yeah.
You can have your own opinions. You don't need to dumb yourself down. I hate when people say that. It's not just him, people in general. I'm just a dumb person. He's like, what do I know? The government knows. No, the government doesn't know. No. They're the dumb ones. Yeah. That's how I feel about it. Like, who are they?
For sure.
I
mean, they've proven again and again that they're going to tell us whatever they can to either get power or keep power.
That's right.
Or to make personal gains for themselves, right?
And like imposter syndrome, how we were talking about that before, right? How you feel like, who are you to say anything, Yeah. That's kind of what the whole population has.
Yeah.
When it comes to the government, they don't think that they have the right to speak up. Well, who am I? The government obviously knows better than we do.
They have way more information than I do.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Know things I don't.
Yeah, no, they don't. Right. They might know some things you don't, but guess what? You know some stuff they don't know too. You might have looked at plenty of stuff that they haven't looked at before.
And you know what? A lot of the times, the thing that they know that you don't know is that they're screwing you.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's something you got to keep in mind when you're dealing with the government.
Yeah.
Who is it? Was it Ronald Reagan? I think you even brought this quote up before when he said the nine most dangerous words.
Yeah, it says the 9 most dangerous words in the English language are we're with the government and we're here to help.
Yeah. And that was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah. So and that's a pretty good example.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier, even nothing that the government does ever runs smooth. It's all crap. It's always overpriced, overpriced and under-delivered in the end when you get the product and stuff too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having him over here to talk about it and stuff, seeing his perspective on it, and hopefully we can have like an honest back and forth about it, and not because that's how discussions usually happen. I know that we're not going to blow up about it and be like, we're going to come with some facts, and he'll come with some facts that he wants to talk about. Hopefully we'll find some common ground in the middle. And that's what it should all be about, and everybody should be able to do that when they have their conversations on a day-to-day, instead of being like, you know what, You're a conservative? I'm disowning you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm never going to talk to you again. I don't want you to be part of the family. You're not coming to family reunions no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both sides do this. The left and the right. They push you to hate the other side now.
100%.
And it never used to be that way. And it's just so sad to me that it is that way now.
It is.
And we have become so weak as a society that we let it happen.
Back in the 90s, I didn't know what anybody's, what the even political thoughts were.
Yeah.
You know? Social media's created this.
Yeah.
And back in the day, it was like not a big deal at all. You didn't even care. Didn't even know. Didn't want to know. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't. You judged a person on their character, themselves personally, on their character, not who they voted for. You didn't even ask people. It wasn't something that was like every conversation had to start with it.
Yeah.
Like, well, I might talk to you. Who did you vote for, though?
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I mean, I remember, back when I was a kid, like nobody knew anything about everybody else's political. You voted for who you voted for, and that was it. It was that you didn't throw it up on social media. You didn't. It also took a long time for news to get to you from the government, right? So you didn't realize half the time what the government was doing, and they didn't have the ability to throw so much information at you.
That's right. There was still a lot of propaganda. That was the thing too, though, because there wasn't the social media aspect. So it's one area that we have, like Rebel News, we have Joe Rogan, we have all these other podcasts who could get truth out there. You know, we didn't have that before, but I do feel like, and I could be just fooling myself, that there was some, not all, but real journalists in the past.
Yeah.
Who were like, if the government was doing something wrong, they were fully invested to finding out the truth and holding the government accountable. Now it is not like that at all. There is no journalists, in my opinion, that are in the mainstream media, you know, and they're all basically opinionated, bought off by the government. So when the news is talking, it's like, I don't even need to hear it most of the time because I'm like, I know it's BS.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I think we got some cool podcasts coming up.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
We're gonna start having now that we got some new gear. We're going to start having some more guests on more frequently too. Yeah. And so that's going to be good. Something we've been talking about behind the scenes here for a bit.
We have up to 3 more microphones.
Yeah. So
we can have 3 guests.
Can have 3 guests coming on. And we'll have some different camera angles and stuff to make it all work too. So it's going to be interesting. We're looking forward to trying it all out. We actually got a few things to do too, Nafy, because we got a cool sign we got to hang up in behind us. We got some new gear. We're going to be up in the stakes a little bit, adding some new stuff. As with anything, you know, you got to evolve. The old show is going to evolve too, so we're going to try focusing on having guests in here, you know, as frequent as we can. And we got some new itemry in here, so we're looking forward to it. Hopefully the sound quality turned out for this episode.
Hopefully.
One good thing about this one is it was kind of off the cuff. We didn't really have anything because we had plans to talk about one thing and then the guest never showed up, so we kind of just freeballed it. But we can work out the kinks with the mics. I'm sure we'll have to do some stuff in the post-edit where we're going to have to figure out some stuff with the mics, but at least for now we'll kind of have an idea about how it sounded. I hope it sounds somewhat decent for y'all out there. And stick with us for the next one because I think that we're going to have some good ones coming up.
We're going to get better and better.
Yeah, I'm excited for the future here because we're starting to look like a real podcast place now.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming, man. Yeah.
Watch, we'll put this one up and just the sound is going to be horrible.
Yeah, just be garbage.
People are going to be like, you're not going.
Trial and error, guys. Trial and error. Well, hopefully the one after this one then will be a beauty.
I got us a nice mixing board to mix all of this sound together, and I was missing one piece that I needed to hook everything up, and I ended up having to put the sound out through the headphone jack. So I can't hear.
Yeah.
We could not check it to see what it sounds like. I got to order one wire.
We're going strictly off the little gauge that reads how high it's going.
Yeah, we're judging our sound visually.
Yeah, visually. We'll see how that's going to work.
It's going to work out how it works.
Yeah, that's right. Not much we can do about it this time, but next time. Yeah, we're going to do well. So I'm pretty excited for the upcoming ones here, guys, and it's only going to get better. Pretty excited, Nafy?
Pretty excited.
Yeah. I think these mics are going to do a huge huge improvement because the sound before Donnie gets a little wily sometimes when he's yelling and gets excited telling a story, and then it just got drowned out in the other mics. It would just be too loud. It sounds like almost like an echo in the room or something.
Yeah.
And I think it was just from the vibration of the table. So we got these new mics. I think it's going to help a lot.
And also on the next one, I got those. I got some sound deadening material that I'm going to be able to put up on some things I have for the walls for curtains. Or I'm going to put up some sound deadening material on the sides where you can't see, but to keep the sound from bouncing around. So that should fix up that.
Yeah, that'll help too. Yeah.
We got some good stuff coming.
Yeah. Stick with us, gang. She's going to be, what is this, episode 10 this one, or episode 9?
I believe this one's episode 10.
Episode 10.
Yeah.
We've been pounding them out for a few months now.
Yeah.
Every couple of weeks getting them done. So we're going to continue on, and I'm looking forward to it, man. It's only going to keep getting better. So
yeah, it's going to be great.
And we would have liked to do a longer one tonight. I got to work tomorrow, and it's late.
Yeah,
it's 12:45 in the morning.
Yeah, I got a date with God at church.
Yeah, so Nathan's got a date too.
Yeah, so
I got to get some sleep too. But thanks for checking it out with us again, gang. And looking forward to next week. And hopefully we'll have a guest in here.
Yeah.
If all goes according to plan.
Yeah.
We'll have a guest in here with us.
I think next week we'll make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think next week you're gonna see a guest.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah.
And then, like we said, hopefully, every couple after that, we're gonna be having guests on too.
Yeah. If you want to be a guest, by all means, contact us.
Reach out.
Put it in the comments if you want to, or send a message to us. Our social media links will be in the description for this video. Feel free to contact either one of us. Also, feel free to go onto our social media links and follow us, like, subscribe. Throw the love around. It all helps get the message out. The bigger we can get on all of our social media, the bigger everything gets and the more people we can get to.
That's right.
And so any help you can do there, feel free, go on, like us on our social medias, our various social medias, send us messages, comments. If you want to be on the podcast, feel free to tell us. If you want us to talk about some things, feel free to tell us.
Yeah, hit us up with some suggestions and stuff too, for sure. And anything, nothing's out of bounds. Let us know. Let us know what you figure. And if you want to come on and talk, we're willing to talk, guys. Come on. So, Nate, what do you figure? You got anything else you need to add?
I think the only other thing I really wanted to cover on was that we really went over tonight that was great was and one, I think, overall reaching aspect of everything is we should really work towards being stronger individuals and not letting ourselves be told what to believe, but having the strength to go, okay, this could be wrong, let me look into it myself.
That's right. Yeah, don't be scared to look into it. Yeah, because I think that's part of the thing too, is people just want to take the government's word for it, or anybody's word for something, and it's you guys don't need to take our word for any stuff we say. Go look it up too, and you'll find out just like we found out, and then eventually you're like, these people aren't telling me the truth. So it's critical thinking, guys.
Critical thinking.
Yeah, don't just believe everything that they're spoon feeding you, because there's a lot of lies in there. And where is this utopia that this world that's created in the news, that the news is created, where everybody does everything right and people in the government are above everybody else and they don't lie or don't have any other personal investments in and stuff? It's they do. There's a lot of corruption in government. There always has been, and it's never going to stop until we have a lot more accountability in there, I think, and people actually get charged or whatever afterwards. If not just being it's a slap on the wrist, ethics violation, pay $500, you can continue doing it and make $95 million. That's the only way it's ever going to end. Until that point, guys, there's probably some shenanigans going on behind the scenes. Don't let anybody fool you and tell you that no, everything's great and all these people are looking out for your best interest, because P.S. no, they ain't.
Yeah, there's nobody looking out for your best interests other than maybe your mother, and she might have even some some things that are
well, and Sing. Old Sing's looking out for you guys. Yeah, old Sing's looking out for you. Yeah. Better believe it.
At the end of the day, it's with a medical system or with anything, with everything, you got to be your own advocate.
That's right.
Right? You got to push for what you need, and you got to Don't accept what other people hand you. You know, you gotta earn it and go out there and get it yourself. And sometimes you gotta push for. You like I said, you gotta be your own advocate to get what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so a lot of that too is when it comes to the political spectrum, don't let yourself be spoon-fed information. Be a critical thinker. Go out there. Be a strong human being. Be a strong man, and go out there and learn for yourself. And then while you're out there being a strong man and a strong human being and learning all those things for yourself, maybe do something to build your life up as well and put yourself into situations where good things happen.
That's right. Get in a healthy relationship with somebody. You know what I mean? That you guys are both going to boost each other up. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe hit the gym. Maybe do a little boxing. Idea. Maybe help out build your body up a little better. Mm-hmm. You know, so that you're actually healthy and you can be around a long time. Because I feel like when you're unhealthy, everything else is unhealthy. Your relationships are unhealthy. Your outlook on life is unhealthy. You know, and you want to drag other people down to be like you. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that that's all, you know, the left. There's a lot of unhealthy people.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
It's a true story.
Yeah, and they want to be like, yeah. They want to point their finger at you, the healthy, masculine man out there, and be like, you're the problem.
Yeah.
I don't think you are.
No.
So, you know, don't be afraid to be a man in today's world. Yeah. She's scary sometimes. But guess what? It's scarier if we had a whole world just of femboys. So
the complete destruction of masculinity will be the end of our society.
That's right. The pussification of the planet is what I like to call it. And that's what they're trying to do. Yeah. But we're going to hold the line.
Hold the line.
Right on, Nafy.
Right on.
Another good one, buddy. Thanks, gang. A few good men.
A few good men.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah,
Peace.